E-mini S&Ps move lower, reversing last week's gains, getting all the way down to 60.60 before closing out the day at 60.65 and ending the string of 3 consecutive new all-time high marks. Obviously, we saw a pullback today. It was a very quiet data day and no Fed speakers on the calendar, given they're in the blackout period ahead of December FOMC. So it did see equities kind of drift lower again, seeing a low of 60.60 today and closing out at 60.65. Now, what does this mean for volatility? Well, as we talked about, volatility typically moves inversely to the indices. So as we saw E-minis moving lower, we saw volatility nudging higher. After closing on 5-month lows on Friday, it did see a little bit of a boost higher. Lastly, let's talk about what we have later this week, and tomorrow, I should say. Tomorrow's Tuesday. We get the Small Business Optimism Index. We do continue to get small bits and pieces of earnings coming out, but ultimately the market, which is always forward-looking, will be preparing for the inflation data, which comes later this week via CPI and PPI. So starting out this week, we saw E-minis moving lower, ending the string of new all-time highs that we saw last week, seeing E-minis close out today at 60.65 ahead of tomorrow's Small Business Optimism Index, more earnings, and then looking ahead to later this week, CPI and PPI.